I knew Cory when he worked in Washington City, when he first started there, and then it incorporated into the sheriff's department, and then him being the true great man that he is, proceeding up through that organization to where he is today, leading all of us in law enforcement.
I love that he serves the county as a whole, but he is also just so service-oriented in his day-to-day life.
He's just one of those genuine people who really cares, and that's how he leads. He serves and leads with his heart, and he's also a lot of fun.
He was a very good officer, very honest, and that's one of the things you appreciate as a sergeant, is knowing that you can trust your people to be honest and to work hard, and Cory did both those.
He wants everyone to be safe, doing the right thing, and he will protect like a mother bear, in this case, father bear.
I admire his work ethic. He works tirelessly through trials and tribulations, and he does a remarkable job. He's been a great sheriff for the county for the past 10 years.
He just cares so well. When you just show people that you care, which is what he does in everything that he does, people respond to that positively, and it's such a neat character trait in a leader.
To this day, he's a good close friend and a good sheriff, somebody that I've looked up to as a sheriff for a long time.
I met Cory Pulsipher almost 30 years ago. I was driving up SR 18 at a high rate of speed, and he was the deputy that pulled me over. Walked up, very professional, very, big guy. Took my information, walked back, didn't talk much, came back up, gave me a written warning. 3 days later, he walks into my scuba diving shop that I owned. He looks at me and goes, "I know you." And I go, "I know you too." And he goes, "I pulled you over the other day, didn't I?" And I said, "Yes, you did." And he goes, "I didn't write you a citation. See, I'm a nice guy. I want this and this and this." And that's kind of how Cory and I got to know each other. He was on the dive team. I had a dive shop, and he happened to come in there 3 days later. So we got to become friends out of that.
One day he brings in this peach pie, and I'm not really a pie fan, but I thought, you know what, if the sheriff is gonna bring this in, I'm gonna, take a sliver, and next thing you know, the sliver turned into 2 or 3 pieces. It was absolutely phenomenal. So I am an avid fan now. I would say a couple months ago, he was here having a meeting with myself and the commissioners, and he left, and about 30 minutes later, he came back and he tapped on my door, and he walked in, and he asked me to come out, so I went out to meet him, and he handed me this beautiful peach pie. And he said, "Nicole, it just looks like you've had a hard day." And he said, "And so I just wanted to share this with you." He goes, "So hide it, because everyone will want it, and then take it home to your family." And, he never has to do those little kind acts of service, but he does them up and above all of his other duties. So what a tremendous man he is, to think of the little things that mean so much to people.
Sheriff Pulsipher's a great cook. He likes to cook outdoors, and whenever he would host a sheriff's meeting, he'd do some kind of cooking with him and his search and rescue for all the sheriffs.
I always kind of wondered why he stuck with law enforcement and didn't open up his own restaurant.
Another memory of mine is Shop with a Cop. The program's gone on for years, but I'll tell you, Cory took it to a whole new level. When he brought it to where we were doing the breakfast together, when we got there, we even had to wear the same aprons, the same hats, the same everything, but that man could cook. He made something that was great for kids, also great for the law enforcement people that were there too. And us as law enforcement leaders, we got to play a very big role in that we never did before, and that was all Cory. That was every bit Cory.
He was the kind who would, 2 o'clock in the morning, I'd get a phone call and he'd say, "Sarge, I think I made a mistake." And I would say, "Tell me what it is." And fortunately, none of his mistakes were those kind that are really bad. And usually in supervision, you try to work through the mistakes and make people better officers. And he worked through his mistakes and became an excellent officer.
Some other really fond memories I have is, I look back at all of the times of him coming up through, whether it was a search and rescue, whether it was a major incident in my town, anything that went on, you knew that you were going to get the phone call, or within minutes, here was this great man standing right next to you. And he was always there. And he was always offering everything he had and then some. And it was always with a smile on his face. He always lightened the moment. And he always made it to where you just relaxed, were comfortable, and were able to deal with it.
In all the years I've known him, when someone's in trouble, he's been the type of guy that would, goes out of his way, will give you the shirt off of his back. With everybody's life when you have a rough time, and I've had some of my own. And Cory was the type of guy that would show up every night when I wasn't doing well and bring me something to eat because I wasn't eating. And he'd bring like 2 big Subway sandwiches, and he goes, "You're going to eat." And I go, "I don't feel like eating, Cory." And he goes, "No, you're going to eat." He has kind of that bearing about him. And we'd sit down, and I'd eat a half of one, and he'd eat the whole one. And he'd look at me and go, "You eat that other half?" I go, "No." And he goes, "Okay." So he would eat it. But he made sure that I ate. He made sure I was okay.
He loves this county. He loves the people of this county. He's one of those people who's really connected with the citizens of this county in a way that I think very few sheriffs do. The citizens really respect and appreciate Cory. And it all comes back to the idea and the fact that Cory cares about people, and people can sense that when they're around him. They sense that he has this genuine appreciation and love for them. And that's what you find when you visit with Cory.
What I respect about Cory is that not only did he continue to be the sheriff in one of the hardest times possibly ever in the law enforcement world in the last couple of years, he's been very consistent the whole time.
He loves this county. He loves working here. He's always put forth 110% every time he's done something for the county. I look at what he's gone through in the last few months with dealing on this, and his effort in the county really hasn't changed much. He still is putting forth that effort to take care of the county, and it really shows what kind of love he has for the people and for the county itself. He's been an inspiration as far as his work ethic and just the kind of guy he is. I've learned a lot from him.
Cory is a get her done attitude kind of guy. Early on, he was my sergeant when I was just a deputy on patrol, and I'd responded to a family fight. Guy had assaulted his wife, and then we tried to get him to come out of the house, and he wouldn't come out. So my thought is, well, we need to get some more manpower here, maybe get SWAT because the guy's going to barricade. Then the sergeant shows up, he just goes and kicks the door and pulls the guy out of the house type thing. So saved us a lot of time.
He takes care of his deputies, sergeants, lieutenants, the undersheriff. Like, he really takes care of his office and really tries to do what's best for them. And what's best for them really translates to what's best for the county in protecting us. So I just want to say how much I appreciate him. I have really enjoyed getting to know him. And I constantly think, okay, how can I give back to the sheriff? Because he's given so much to me.
I completely, have supported him all these years. We haven't always agreed on things, but he's the boss. But he's the type of guy that if I was upset or, there was some question on what was going on, he was the type of guy I could walk up to his office and go, "Hi, Cory, how you doing?" He goes, "Fine, come in." And I'd go in, and when I shut the door, I'd watch this. Because he kind of knew I was going to let out my frustration and vent. And he always allowed me to do that. No matter how upset I was, he'd listen to it, write some things down every once in a while. And then he goes, "Do you feel better?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay, go back to work." "All right, boss." That's the type of guy that I know Cory Pulsipher as.
Cory has been one of the greatest public servants that this county has ever had. He is a true leader. He's a true professional. He's one of the most kind and caring people that I've ever met. The reason I believe he was in law enforcement was because he cared about people. Long before it was ever really a coined phrase or a coined word, he made sure people's rights were protected. He made sure that their needs were taken care of. He made sure that victims were supported and did all he could there. And I guess, to me, the biggest thing is Cory was a great friend. That's a tough one because he really is. Cory is a great friend.
I would tell Cory that it's been great working with him. in all the different avenues we worked in search and rescue and in the SWAT team and on the road as a supervisor and as being supervised by him. It's been great to work with him, and he's a great asset to the county and a great asset to the people of the county. He cares, it comes across, and he's willing to spend his time and effort to serve, and I appreciated that example and the way he got along with everybody. Cory, at times in his career, Cory was like a son, and at times he was like a brother. He's been a great friend.
One of the greatest parts about being a county attorney is getting to work with you as a sheriff. We had a lot of interesting adventures together. Some of them were fun, some of them were serious, many of them were crazy. But one of the things that sticks out to me the most is no matter what, you were always at the front of the line. You were a working sheriff. You were the first one in. You rolled up your sleeves. You weren't afraid to get muddy or dirty. And you cared about your people.
So my first opportunity to meet Cory Pulsipher was right after I won the convention. And he instantly came up to me and introduced himself and said, "I will do whatever it takes to help you succeed in your position." And I just had such great respect for that. Instead of saying him coming and wanting something or looking for something, his first interaction with me is, "I want to help you out." And I think that really is how Cory has been throughout his whole entire career, whether it's helping people in the community, whether it's helping new individuals that are coming into law enforcement, help them get ready in their career. That's what he's done his whole life. And so I think it's great that he has this opportunity, that we can celebrate him at this time, because he really deserves it for all that he's done for our community.
Cory, I started hearing your name around our house approximately 30 to 35 years ago, during the time when Dean was maintaining the sheriff's office radio repeaters. As his responsibilities expanded to include emergency operations and search and rescue, oh, how he loved working with you. You could often be found in the right seat next to Dean in our little Cessna as both of you searched for missing people, marijuana busts, and just checking out the snow on Kolob. You worked hard together and played hard together. I can remember on one occasion being on standby next to the ham radio just in case I needed to send out the troops to rescue both of you after a snowmobile incident on Kolob. You befriended our entire family. I remember you taking the time from your busy day to make balloon animals for my grandchildren, something they've never forgotten. In Dean's final year, you assisted him at many parades, rodeos, and county fairs. Wherever it was needed, you were there. You are an amazing friend, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I am so thrilled and excited that you have chosen to take your much-deserved retirement, and I hope you fish many more streams and enjoy life with your family. Just remember, the Cox family loves you.
First time I ever met Cory, we were competing for the love of a relatively unattractive female, Chesapeake Bay Retriever named Rudy. There's old Rudy. Rudy was a great drug dog Cory got to handle early in his law enforcement career, and somehow she trickled down to me early in my law enforcement career, and I got to handle her as well for a couple years. And when we retired her, Cory picked her up in her retirement, and she lived happily ever after on his place there in Washington County. So many great stories with Cory. I could go on and on. The time that we scared Dean Cox nearly half to death in our ATV competition. The time that we spent the night in the Grand Ole Opry. Cory's been a great friend that I knew I could call or text at any time. Kind of like a big brother just over the hill, willing to help me with anything I needed, and I have appreciated his friendship and his brotherhood. Love you, buddy.
Hey Cory, wish you well in your retirement. It's been a privilege and an honor to work with you over the last, well, I've been in this now 22 years. I remember one of the first experiences I had meeting you was out on a crash on Snow Canyon Parkway on a graveyard shift several years ago. I was a young officer, and I was always impressed by the person that you were, the kind words that you always had, and the reassurance. I hope you have a great time in your retirement. I wish you the best. And please, on behalf of the St. George Police Department and our community, good luck and enjoy. I hope you have a great time.
Thank you so much for everything that you've done for law enforcement here in the state of Utah. You are such an amazing example to many of us. I know me coming in on this last election cycle as one of the newer sheriffs, you were somebody who reached out to me and was friendly right from the start. Not that all the sheriffs aren't, but you stood out to me as somebody that I could go to for suggestions and help, and I appreciate that. I know, some of my family down in your neck of the woods, and you take such good care of them. I truly appreciate you. I truly appreciate everything that you've done for Utah and for the community down in Washington. Thank you so much, and I wish you the best.
I want to wish you all of the best. So grateful for the service you've given to our community all these many years. And now as you ride off into the sunset, I hope you will enjoy your family and enjoy some great fishing. We're gonna miss you. Thanks for all you've done.
Sheriff, thanks for your many years of dedication and service to our community. We will miss you a lot as sheriff here. But don't fool anybody. I know the real reason for your retirement. You want to resume your career as a ballroom dancer. Take care.
Cory, on behalf of the men and women of Washington City Police Department and the citizens of Washington City, we thank you for your time and dedication as our sheriff here in Washington County. You've been able to share your many talents and passions with those around you, and we deeply appreciate all that you've done for us. We wish you well in your new adventure in retirement, and we hope that we're able to cross paths from time to time. Thank you for your continued efforts in being a great leader and a defender of justice and peace here in the county, and we wish you well. Thank you.
Sheriff, Congressman Stewart here. Hey, I join with hundreds, I'd say even thousands of people as we say thank you for your many, many years of service. Being in law enforcement, it's a little like being in the military, some other kind of choice careers where you truly are serving the people, but I recognize it comes at some sacrifices to you and your family. You've done it for so long now. God bless you. We're so grateful for all you've done for us. I'm thankful for you being a friend. I appreciate that, and best wishes now to you and your family.
Cory, you've dedicated your life to the service of others. Thank you. Your stature in the community is one that's unmatched, and it's one that won't ever be duplicated. The Utahns of Washington County have placed a special trust and a special confidence in you. You never let them down, not once. On a more personal note, I remember so fondly, as if it were yesterday, the time we cooked pancakes together back in 2010 when our campaigns crossed paths. It was fantastic. We made really good pancakes that day. In any event, I wish you the very best, Sheriff. Thanks so much for all you've done for Washington County and for being such a good friend to me.
Sheriff Pulsipher, I just wanted to take the opportunity given to me to, more importantly than anything, give you a personal thanks for your service as our county sheriff. You've made Washington County a better place for me and my family and the citizens that live here. It's reflected in how your deputies act and serve as well. So I just wanted to say, from one elected official to another, but more importantly from a citizen of Washington County, thank you for your service.